How's it going, everyone?
Hey, Doug, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Hey, you're going into your, year four with a group that's been around for a long time here, Doug. I mean, how much has changed from now versus even looking back to that first time in 2017 against Ohio State?
Yeah. I mean, it's changed tremendously. We've kind of grown up, in the past 4 years, and it's everything we've been doing. Practice, games, like how we are in the classroom, like everything has changed a lot. And I think that's part of becoming an upperclassman, becoming a leader on a team. You kind of have to figure those things out. So it's been really cool to see. I watched the 2017 Ohio State game a couple days ago. So I mean, it's definitely changed a lot for sure.
How have you personally, I mean, I've seen, especially over the course of the last few months, it seems like a lot of guys respect you, and I know you've reached out to a lot of teammates over the course of the last few months. How have you changed or maybe embraced your role as a leader on this team?
Yeah, I think the first few years here, we had a guy like Nicky who kind of showed me the ropes, and I kind of was looking at him the whole time, like, all right, what does he do? How does he act? How does he act around the guys? And I've liked to take a few things from him and learn from him. But yeah, I mean, once he left, I knew that I was probably going to have to be one of the guys to step up, as well as Darian, Palcho, those guys, just being older guys in the room. So as far as reaching out to all the guys, I just wanted to make sure they were all good, and if they needed anything, just let them know that I was there for them. But yeah, I think you learn a lot of things from the people who are above you, and I'm super grateful for that. So
Thanks, Doug.
no problem.
So Doug, going back, it's kind of crazy. You're at the final year here now. You have a journey that not many college players have. You commit to Florida Atlantic, then you find out there's a gray shirt spot available in Illinois. You commit there. That coach leaves after, like 3 weeks after you sign that deal. You then don't know if your gray shirt's going to turn into a scholarship. Then you get put on scholarship, and now you're a 4-year starter facing your 5th year. So what's it like, this whole journey of 5 years to get to here?
Yeah, I mean, the first little gray shirt part, that was definitely the craziest. Just because there's a lot of uncertainty, I didn't really know what was going to happen. Once I got here, it was kind of, I had a lot of help, like I said before, but it was really just locking in and doing everything I could to accomplish my goals that I had when I was growing up, watching the team, and a fan of the university. But yeah, I think that first few years were kind of a whirlwind. We had to play early on, and a lot of growing pains showed for sure. But I think we've put ourselves in a position now where we could do some pretty special things this year, I think.
Speaking of those special things, how good do you think this line can be? You have 4 fourth-year guys plus Blake coming in, who's played a lot of football at different levels. So how good do you think you can be?
I think we can do some, like I said before, special things. Not really sure what those are yet. But every single day as an offensive line, we're not thinking months in advance, like, oh, we want this, we want that. It's more of just every single day you got to lock in, you got to get better at what you need to get better at. And I think our coach does a great job of honing us in on the certain things that we need to get better at, and that's really what we focus on every single day, and that's what we have focused on for the past few years.
Thanks, Doug.
No problem.
Doug, I've got a couple of things. First of all, how are you feeling? I know you missed the late part of the season. Are you all better? Are you all 100%? Kind of where you are on that?
Yes, sir. I feel great right now. Best I've felt in years for sure.
The other thing is you play offensive line. How's that different? And maybe what's your thoughts about playing offensive line at the time of COVID-19? Are you worried about, having to block guys, are you worried about guys going to be affected? How's it different? Is anything changed for you that way?
I mean, maybe it crossed my mind, you know, a couple weeks ago, or when they were announcing, the plans and stuff. You kind of have in the back of your mind, like, oh, how's this going to work? How's that going to work? But right when you hear, our athletic director talk, and Coach Smith talks, and the leadership of our university talks. I mean, I have the most confidence in them, and I feel completely comfortable playing this game this season. And yeah, so I mean, as far as worrying about offensive line, when I'm out there, I'm thinking about blocking the guy across from me, not too much about the other stuff.
Can you do anything different? Are you guys wearing some sort of guard, right? Some sort of face thing?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Kind of help yourself, protect yourself.
Yeah, so we wear a face mask about up to here, and that entire bottom face mask part is covered. So, I mean, after the practice, I'll spit and all that stuff that normally is, I don't know where it's going, maybe on the defender's face, but all that stuff, it's all blocked from that. So, and then when we're not on the field, when we take the helmet off, we pull the gaiter. I'm sure you guys have heard about that, but it's just a little face mask. We pull that up, and then, yeah, that's really the most we're doing. And then obviously staying 6 feet apart when we're not on the field.
Thanks, Doug. Great talking to you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Hey, Doug, how's it going?
How's it going, Gavin?
Pretty good. Good to see you again. I wanted to ask you about Blake Gerasatti coming into this offensive line group. You guys are a real veteran group. Once again, you're adding another experienced transfer. Have you talked to him yet? And what's your early impression been of him as what he's going to be like as a teammate and a player on this team?
Yeah, so I've been, I think all 4 of us on the offensive line have been talking to him since probably the day after he committed, around that time. And he's been awesome. He fits right in with the group. Whether that's on or off the field. And I think the biggest thing about him is he really wants to learn, and I think he tries to absorb all the information going around. So, I mean, he'll ask every single person on the offensive line questions when he's not getting coached by Coach McLean. So it'll be right after he learns something from him, he turns over to me and he'll ask me something, or he'll turn to Palcho and ask something. So I think he's got a great work ethic, and I think he fits perfect in with the group.
As a veteran at Illinois and in the Big Ten, what do you think an offensive lineman needs to do coming into a camp to get ready for this league?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to understand that it is the Big Ten, but at the same time, there's a reason you're there. Like, those coaches, they believe in you. They believe in you enough to, bring you along and bring you over to the team. So you got to be confident in what you can do. And, you just got to go out there and battle every single snap. You got to focus on your technique, all that stuff for sure. But inside in your head, you just got to have the want to, and, you just got to be ready to get after people.
You guys have a bunch of younger players on the line who haven't seen time because the front group has done so well and has stayed healthy these past couple of years mostly. What do you just look for in some of these younger guys to make steps forward?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with those guys is everyone in the O-line room this year for sure wants competition, and you want the young guys below you to not want to just be the second string. Like, you want them to battle every day, like I just said, and, push and try to motivate themselves and try to win that spot. And even if it doesn't happen, that makes both players better. And I think they have done that so far through, the past 2 days of this camp and, going forward. But that's really what I look for. I just, look for people who want to compete and, want to get better and learn.
And last one, you guys are listed both at 6'2", and I think you're 300, he's 295. It's easy on paper to make that comparison just between you guys. Do you see that? And also, what do you make of people calling him undersized? Because I'm sure that you've been called undersized for a lot of times in your career as well.
Yeah, I've definitely been called undersized a fair share in college, and I mean, the biggest thing about that is just, so what? Like, it doesn't matter. You know, use it as a motivation if you want, or just brush it off. But at the end of the day, you know, you're going to be the one in there blocking the guy. So it's more important to focus on, you know, what you can do on the field, how you can be the best player you can be, than to, you know, worry about the undersized thing.
Thanks, Doug.
Doug, my first question is, has Coach Bob figured out this Zoom thing yet? Or is he still a little old school and need some help?
I think, you know, he's definitely gotten a lot better for sure. We'll always need a little bit of help in some things if it gets tricky, but yeah, he's definitely gotten a lot better.
Specifically on the field, who's behind you at center? You know, who's working at center along with you? I know Kendrick said during bull practice he was doing it and kind of admitted to us in classic Kendrick fashion, I kind of suck at it. Who's behind you right now? Who's working at center if you have to go down or you have to be moved around?
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the good things about having Blake, having a guy like Kendrick who can snap, is we have flexibility. So as far as if I went down, I'm not sure. Maybe they go. I'm not sure right now. That'd be a question for Coach McLean, but I can tell you that there's a lot of young guys who are working behind me right now, trying to battle for a spot for sure. You look at a guy like Preston Angle, who's been here for a few years. I know Josh Poor's taking snaps at center. We've had Vertus taking snaps at center, Jordan. So we've had a lot of guys trying to develop, you know, getting used to snapping and stepping with the ball. But I think, you know, that gives a lot of flexibility and decision-making, and, you know, you can kind of move people around if things do happen.
My last question is, we heard from Paucho yesterday, at least his impression of the first day was that some of the young guys were really hard on themselves about, you know, not knowing everything and not knowing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Is it your kind of responsibility, and Paucho and some of those older guys, to kind of remind them, hey, you're a freshman, you're not really supposed to know exactly 100% what you're supposed to be doing. This is kind of what this is for.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good thing. I mean, I was like that with myself when I was young. And I know Paucho was, and, you know, those other guys like KG and V. So obviously people are gonna, you know, you should get frustrated when you mess up and you don't know something. But, you know, like you said, it's the role of the older guys to be like, listen, you just got here. It'll happen, but you need to keep grinding, and you need to keep, you know, that thing in the back of your head that's saying like, I can't be messing this up. So yeah, there's definitely a role for both sides there.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
No
problem. Hi, Doug. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. So before this, I asked Lovey if he valued an open line of communication, if he made sure that you as players knew that you could always come to him as a coach for, you know, issues at hand. And he said that it's not something that he just implemented this year. It's something that's been implemented since he started coaching. So I'm just wondering if you have seen your teammates actually use that to their advantage, or if you've personally ever talked to him and you felt like your coach was open and you were able to actually go to him with anything regards to on the field work or off the field.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably one of the first things he says in his team meetings, and one of the first things he said to me when I got on campus my freshman year. It was like the day before camp, and he brought me into the room. He's like, look, if you ever need anything, like, we can talk, you know, direct man to man. We'll have a conversation, and, you know, everything is open in that room. And I think for sure, like, people have used that in the past, have talked to him, have gone to him. And yeah, I'm not sure if I have in the past couple of years. But yeah, I mean, if you need to, you definitely can. And, you know, that's the same way that, you know, basically our athletic department works too, because I know our athletic director, Josh Whitman, is kind of the same way, where, you know, you can get in contact with him, and it's not impossible to. Like, I know when we were quarantined, me and Jake Hansen had a meeting with him, and, you know, we just wanted to talk some things through. So, you know, we were able to do that, and it was something that's not hard to do. So. Definitely
do you find that it can be tricky sometimes, like if there's some, especially like when it came to the transition of coming back for practices and, now you're preparing for a season still amidst a pandemic. Do you think that it's okay for you to bring up some issues or worries that you have without any consequences?
Yeah, definitely. And I think every team meeting that we've had, we've finished that off with, if anybody's got any concerns, you can ask the questions right now. If you don't feel comfortable with talking in front of the whole group, you can contact Coach Smith, Coach Knox, Jeremy Bush, our head athletic trainer. You can contact any of those people, directly if you want to, if you don't want to do it in front of the whole group. So yeah, that's how we finished basically every team meeting for the past couple months. So yeah, it's been good. Everyone can voice, any concerns they have and stuff like that.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Doug, I got one more.
Yes.
The NFL, 66 players have opted out of the NFL this year, and the offensive linemen are the majority. I mean, the biggest number. Does that surprise you a little bit that they would be the ones opting out? Does it make sense to you because kind of how physical the position is?
Yeah, I didn't even know that, to be honest. I mean, it's a little surprising, but everyone's different. People have different situations. Those guys have families and kids and stuff like that, so they have a lot going on. In that regard of opting out, I can only really speak for myself, and I don't think I see myself doing that.
Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, okay.
Hey, Doug, I'm sorry. Yesterday, Palcho mentioned that 2017. I mean, he said those just sucked. Like those were not, really enjoyable times on the football field for him. What was your experience? And do you guys talk about that? I mean, is that the topic of conversation that you guys come back to?
Yeah, definitely. Me and Palcho were talking about the score of the Ohio State game today out on the field. It's something that we're using kind of as motivation because we did get beat. We got beat bad, and it's embarrassing when that sort of thing happens because we believe we're better players than that. But I think looking back on 2017 and the years like that, you can see the growth and you can see that really the things that you're doing, the things working hard every day, just taking it day by day, that sort of thing, the thing that our offensive line kind of lives by, you can kind of see it working because there has been a progression. There has been, people are getting better and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think, as an offensive line, for sure, the four of us talk about it all the time. You can flash back to games and just be like, man, like it can't be like that again, basically, sort of thing.
Thank you, Doug.
No problem.
Good.
Yeah. All right, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Nice.
Thanks, Doug.
I appreciate it.